The role for the Monday, January 28th Board of Control meeting. Trevor Macular serving as an alternate for Dan Brady. Dennis Kennedy serving as an alternate for Armin Budish.
Here.
Lenora Lockett. Joe Nani serving as an alternate for Dale Miller.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, the first order of business for today is to review the minutes of the meeting held on January 22nd, 2019. Hope everybody's had time to review those. Are there any comments or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. McAleer. All those in favor of approval of the minutes indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Board of Control minutes are approved. Is there anybody signed up for public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you. And so we will go into contracts and awards. Are there any tabled items?
No tabled items.
So we'll move on to the new items for review.
Item number BC 2019-74, Department of Public Works, recommending an award on requisition 42097 and enter into a contract with Glaus, Pyle, Schomer, Burns, and DeHaven, Inc., doing business as GPD Group, in the amount not to exceed $346,139 for professional engineering and design services in connection with the rehabilitation of Warrensville Center Road bridges numbers 0592 East and 0592 West over the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority Rapid Transit tracks in the city of Shaker Heights.
Nicole English with Public Works. We're asking for an award that we selected GPD on an RFQ process. 20 were pulled, 9 submitted, and 1 was selected. This was scoring with the selection committee out of Public Works. And these are 2 bridges over RTA that we're going to need replacement, and this will be a Part 1 contract to do the initial study phase of the project. There was a 30% goal, 15 SBE, 10 MBE, 5 WBE, which they have committed to.
Are there any questions from anybody on this item? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve this item. Is there a second? Second by Mr. McAleer. All those in favor of approval indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The item is approved.
Calling the roll for Mike Dever. Next item, BC 2019-75, Department of Workforce Development, recommending an award on requisition 43493 and enter into a contract with Growth Transitions, Inc., doing business as Mayor and Mayor, in the amount not to exceed $175,000 for Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act consultant services. And it's for the period February 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2019.
Frank Brickner from the Department of Workforce Development. We are recommending a contract with Mayor and Mayor. They will assist us in several areas. They will help the development of a strategic plan for the Workforce Board. They will help with board professional development and also professional development for staff and contracted providers. And then finally, they will help facilitate with the libraries, job and family services, and other community groups how we can more effectively integrate our services. They were procured via competitive RFP process, and we will use federal WIOA funds to pay for the service. They were unanimously selected as part of the RFP review, and the review team consisted of staff, workforce board members, and county and city leadership.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? I have just one question. Were they the low bidder as well?
They were not the low bidder. There were a couple providers who submitted a lower price, but this one, I think 15% of the weight of the proposal was based on price. They clearly were much more specific and detailed with their proposal, their recommendation, and their knowledge of workforce board services.
Do you know what those other prices were?
We could get that, we have that, but like, for example, we are devoting, I think, $92,000 of the cost for the strategic plan. There were a couple providers that were above that. There was one provider at like half that amount, $50,000, but clearly we would not have been able to receive what we wanted in this instance.
Do you have those numbers, Lenore? The results of the RFP? Or you can get them?
Lenore, like the Office of Procurement University, yes, we
Sure.
would have a copy of all the proposals that would include their price.
Okay.
Just as a follow-up, do you know approximately, this one's 175, what the lowest bid was in comparison? just to
Well,
get an idea?
we allowed proposals to bid on various areas of technical assistance, and at least one proposal just did strategic planning, and that was about $50,000. There were some proposals that all the services, I mean, I think it went up to like $250,000 for all areas.
Yeah, if you could get a I mean, were the vendors allowed to bid on individual components of this?
Yes, they were allowed. So most vendors bid on all components, but at least one, no, I think two of them only bid on a specific component.
Okay. Any other questions, comments from anybody? Hearing none, I'll move to approve the item. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Nani. All those in favor of approval indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Next item, BC 2019-76. It's a two-part item, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division. A, submitting an RP exemption on requisition 44020, which will result in an award recommendation to Case Western Reserve University on behalf of the Begin Center for Violence Prevention, Mandel School of Applied Sciences, in the amount not to exceed $75,050 for evaluation services of the Juvenile Drug Treatment Court Program, and it's for the period October 1st, 2018 through September 30th, 2021. And B, recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Sarah Baker with Juvenile Court. The court was recently awarded a federal grant for our drug court program, and this is part of that. Part of that grant requires us to evaluate those programs. So we wrote in Case Western Reserve to provide that evaluation for this 3-year grant term.
Are there any questions on this item? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve this item. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Dever. Is that correct? That's correct. Okay, all those in favor of approval indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The item is approved. Thank you.
Next item, BC 2019-77, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division. Again, a two-part item. A, submitting an RP exemption on requisition 43913, which will result in an award recommendation to Case Western Reserve University on behalf of the Begun Center for Violence Prevention, Mandel School of Applied Sciences, in the amount not to exceed $15,000 for evaluation services of the Targeted Reclaim Program, and it's for the period February 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2019, and B, recommending the award in connection with said RP exemption.
Sarah Baker with Juvenile Court. The state recently came to us and are now requiring us to do evaluations on all of our targeted reclaim programs. So that's our Applewood MST program, both of our in-county secure residential programs. So this is kind of newer for us, and they did give us the $15,000 to complete this evaluation for all of those programs.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve this item. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Nani. All those in favor of approval indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The item is approved. Thank you.
Next item, BC 2019-78, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Senior and Adult Services. This is a two-part item. A, submitting an RFP exemption on requisition 44597, which will result in an award recommendation to Cleveland Clergy Alliance in the amount not to exceed $300,000 for community outreach Navigator services to seniors and adults with disabilities within faith-based communities throughout Cuyahoga County. And it's for the period February 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2019, and B, recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Good morning. Paul Porter, Health and Human Services on behalf of the Division of Senior and Adult Services. This is a contract that we've kind of been developing this program for a couple of years with the Cleveland Clergy Alliance. Dollars were included in the DSAS budget for 2019 for this program. As the item indicates, it's for targeted community navigator services within faith-based communities. These would be navigators that'll help connect seniors and adults with disabilities to resources like utility assistance, medical payment assistance, and even some of the DSAS services like the Options Program, home support, and adult protective services.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Mr. Meckler.
Well, just to confirm, this is the new service provided for the 19 budget that was presented in 2017.
Correct. This one, it was for the 19 budget, and we gave a start date of 2/1/19 just because it took the vendor a little while to get their nonprofit certification approved. So that's why we changed the start date to 2/1/19. But yes, this is just for 2019.
And then just as a follow-up, since it's a new contract, do you have like goals or objectives within the contract that you can monitor to see if it was a worthy program? I know it's a new program and something that we think is going to help. But
Absolutely. We do. We're including performance metrics and benchmarks in the contract, and then our team in contract administration and performance is going to work on monitoring this contract in conjunction with staff at DSAS.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Paul, is this is an actual entity that files like a W-9 with us? And
Correct. We had to get a W-9, and that was part of the delay. They were waiting for their tax ID number. That's why we did a 2/1 start date instead of a 1/1 start date.
so it's basically a new organization?
Well, the organization has been in existence as an informal group, and they recently got their certification as like a federally recognized entity.
And then how, it starts 2/1,
Correct.
and the schedule of payments is monthly, so what's the monthly bill that we have to?
It could vary by month. It's going to be based on the actual hours worked. They're going to have, events at the different congregations, and then there's an executive director for the program.
So is this like a not-to-exceed amount, or it's
Correct.
not like a scheduled installment payment?
Exactly. This is a not-to-exceed amount, and then they'll submit a monthly invoice that the financial services team at DSAS will review and process. So you're correct. It is a not-to-exceed amount, not a fixed amount.
Okay, any other questions from anybody? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Nani. All those in favor of approval indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The item's approved. Thank you.
Moving on to exemptions, item BC 2019-79, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, recommending an alternate procurement process in the anticipated amount not to exceed $475,000 to provide the option to make monthly recurring food purchases for youth in the detention center. And it's for the period February 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2019.
Sarah Baker, Juvenile Court. Previously, procurement had been doing all of our food bids and all of our food purchasing for us, and we are now taking that over. That previously had occurred monthly, and we did try a quarterly bid one time, and we were not pleased with the outcome of that and how that worked. So we're going to take over this and do it monthly as well.
Thank you. Any questions on the exemption request? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Dever. All those in favor of approval indicate by saying aye. 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 Any opposed? The item is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we move on to the consent agenda. Is that correct, Andrea?
Yes, items 80 through 85.
Okay, if everybody would take a moment to take a last check over those items. I haven't asked for questions.
No questions yet?
Questions regarding the consent agenda? Mr. Nani?
Yeah, thank you. I was getting a little ahead of myself there. I was just curious on the computer purchases that are on BC 201985 for, looks like HR. There might be some other departments. Do you know can somebody answer when HR made the request for those purchases? The initial request.
Janelle Green, Department of IT. We'll have to get back to you because we didn't bring that information here.
Okay.
I believe it was towards November, December
Okay.
of last year, so we'll have to get that.
Thank you.
Any other questions on any items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda items. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Dever. All those in favor of approval indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda items are approved. Any other business?
No other business at this time, and no public comment.
No time-sensitive, mission-critical,
No.
public comments, nothing. So I believe we are done. I will make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Mr. McAleer. All those in favor of adjournment indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.